Brewed history. Now, what we are talking about, we're talking about the telephone. Now, what I got here is a telephone. I'm going to plug it in and we're going to talk on it about the history of the telephone. Now, in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell was granted his patent for the telephone. Now, it took him almost a year to finally get it to work. Watson had gone into another room. Yes, he had a Watson, and he was. And then finally, what he said to him was, "Watson, come here. I need you." Watson came into the room and was like, "I heard you loud and clear." So then they switched places. And Alexander Graham Bell went into the other room, and Watson on his end said, "Mr. Bell, do you understand what I say?" Of course, Alexander Bell came in. Him and Watson were over the moon about that. Now, they had to get it, in front of the right eyes. So in spring of 1876, Philadelphia was having a World's Fair, which is a World's Fair was just like a trade show. And it was for people, new inventions, show off what they had. And so this was their moment to shine. So they took their invention. When Bell set this down in front of people, they didn't know what to expect. They didn't realize that they were laying their eyes upon something that would change the world, the way the world communicates. He went down the hall, and they heard him say, "To be or not to be? That is the question." That is what he asked. And so when they came back, people were they were amazed. It was almost like magic. There was actually something after the telephone started popping up. People had telephone terror where they were afraid of this invention. And don't laugh, because there are people that are afraid now when there are new inventions. When I was a kid growing up, people were afraid of microwaves. It's a thing. People are scared of what they don't know, and they were scared of the telephone. Now, after winning top prize at the World's Fair in Philadelphia, about a year later, telephones started popping up all over. Now, they usually, this was something for the wealthy. A businessman, to his place of business to his home, doctors to hospitals. It was very, it was something that only the wealthy had. And the connection wasn't great. There was a long delay. It wasn't like you could just pick up the telephone and, hey, connect me to the hospital. It didn't work that way. There was sometimes a long delay in getting you connected. And then there was an overlap of voices overheard on the telephone, what they could hear, if they could hear. And the further they got away, further apart from each other, it became harder to hear. In 1877, the Bell Telephone Company was established. Bell Telephone Company eventually became the American Telephone and Telegraph Company, AT&T. Yeah, started by the man himself. So that is the history of our telephone. This telephone you can find on Amazon. There is a link in the description if you want to go check it out. I do earn a commission from this. Where would we be without the telephone? If you just think of all the inventions that we've had since then that have built upon this. So it's really I can only imagine how amazed these people were at seeing this, because thinking how the world would be without it is amazing in itself. And bye-bye.